How's it going, y'all? Welcome back to an episode of Fishing ATX. I'm not going to sugarcoat this one. As you can probably tell from the title, this is going to be a tough video to talk about, I won't lie, but you know what? I mean, I film everything for a reason, whether good or bad, so you kind of got to talk about it all, right? That's what I'm doing here today. So as y'all saw in the last video I posted, I was doing a bunch of pre-fishing out on Lake Austin for a tournament that I had at the end of January, and I was feeling really good. I'd had 4 or 5 consecutive trips of pretty good sized bags, anywhere between some, mid to high teens, even a couple of 20-pound plus bags out there. I was really confident at that point in time. The week leading up to the tournament, I didn't have a whole lot of time to go pre-fish, so I went and pre-fished the Sunday after the group tournament. So there's usually a group tournament one weekend, and then the solos is the next weekend. I fished the solos tournament, so I fished the Sunday after the Saturday group tournament, which was 6 days before our solos tournament, and I tore them up, as you guys are going to see. It was freezing cold, mid-20s in the early morning. It got to maybe 50-something in the late afternoon, but as you'll see right off the bat, I catch them really, really well. So you're probably confused right now. Why are you so upset? How did things go so wrong? Well, just watch and find out. Morning, y'all. It is a cold one this morning. It has been cold over this past week and a half or so. It's been roughly a week and a half since I've been out here fishing on Lake Austin. The boat's been in the shop, unfortunately, but she's all good to go now. And honestly, if there's any week I wanted to miss, it was probably this last week. It's been rather cold. This is the first day actually we're even gonna get into the 50s, I think, in almost a week. So by afternoon, it'll feel pretty pleasant outside. Certainly this water is dropped a lot temperature-wise over this last week. Still waiting for all my electronics to fully warm up so I can kind of know exactly what that's going to look like. But if I had to take a guess, it's probably in the low 50s now. It was in the high 50s last week. I would imagine it's probably in the mid-low 50s now. It's just been so darn cold out. I mean, hell, I don't know if our air temp's gotten warmer than the water temp was last time I was out here in the last week or so. So I have to imagine it's lost a decent amount of temperature. It's going to affect the fishing, obviously. I'm sure the fishing's been real rough this week. Fishing here tend to be pretty finicky, so would not surprise me at all. I think with today being the first real actually kind of warmer day we've had in a minute, gives us an opportunity to catch some good fish later on this afternoon especially. But I don't know, we'll just see how things go. That's a good start, huh? Second cast. Running right at the boat. That's how you start off right there. Hell yeah. Drop shot strikes on cast number 2. Not even sure how well you guys can see, considering it's still pretty dark outside. There we are. Good little buddy to start the morning off. Hopefully get a lot more just like this guy. Alright, friend. It's a hell of a start right there. Just keep her going. Cast number 2, already on the board. Another one. Hell yeah. Nice, dude. That is awesome. That is so awesome. Hell yeah, another butterball. That's now 4 casts, 2 fish. All right, back to what I was saying about water temp earlier. Now I give my electronics some time to warm up, and the water temp is just slightly above 52 degrees right now, which means it's dropped about 6-7 degrees in a week's time. It's pretty crazy. It just shows you how cold it's been. Looking at water in the low 50s though, which honestly, I mean, it's supposed to be pretty cold this week too. Wouldn't surprise me if it drops over a degree or 2 by tournament day next week. But honestly, as long as it's still above kind of that 40 range, should be all right. I don't think the fish will be too overly finicky. It's really once it starts getting to that kind of mid 40 range when they start getting real finicky. There we go. On the A-rig. That is a butterball. Dang, that's a fat fish. First A-rig victim, and that is a fat one. Thank you, my friend. Good eat by you right there. I'll see you next time. Oh, man, it's cold. It is freaking cold right now. The sun's coming up, which is good. It's gonna help. But dang, it's chilly outside at the moment. There he is. That could be a nice one. Can't really tell, honestly, but that could be a nice one. Yeah, not bad for sure. Hell yeah. Best fish of the morning so far. Also happens to be the skinniest, but it's a good one. It's a good 2.5 pounder. Hell yeah. Thank you, friend, for the eat. That might be a fish. Hitting the plant. Nope, that is fish. Alright, I just got an 8 that time. Oh my goodness. Running right at the boat. Alright. Another kind of long, skinny guy out of this spot. What the hell? Oh my gosh. I'm amazed this guy was able to run the way he was. Ooh, that dude is jacked up. But they're fish. I mean, that's not a bad head, but that is a tiny, just jacked up body is all I'm gonna say. So at this point in the morning, everything was going great. I already caught a couple good-sized fish. It was cold, but I was catching them. I was feeling good. My spots were hitting. And then I tried fishing this new point that I never tried before. Honestly, not a whole lot of confidence going into it. I was just like, you know what? It was just a random point. Might as well try it. I take a few casts up on there, and I hook into a giant. Absolute giant on a little tiny drop shot. Fight him for a while, get it right next to the boat, get it in the boat, pull it in, and it's like a 7-pounder. Very, very nice fish for sure. I'm super pumped up about it, hyped up. It's a great day overall. And then I didn't even realize this until that night when I got home, but I realized that my camera had glitched out during the catch. As you'll see here, it recorded like 13 seconds worth of video and then it glitched out. That's all it was. Like, I remember looking down after catching the fish even and seeing that it was still recording, still rolling. So I was like, all right, great, you know, I got it on camera. I did not. And that was really the first big mess up or, you know, wrongdoing, I guess, or just unfortunate event of this video. I know what y'all are going to say, though. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I still caught the fish, right? So it's not really that big of a deal. And y'all are right. I mean, it's not. I mean, I would much rather catch the fish and have it on video than vice versa, lose the fish on video, for example. But it just, I don't know, it kind of gave me a bad aura, and the rest of the day went, you know, relatively well. I had caught a couple of pretty good size ones, and then I lost one by the boat. It's like a 5-pounder, but regardless, I had a great bag. I caught a lot of good fish. I was feeling pretty confident heading into next Saturday's tournament. The entirety of the week leading up to the tournament, it was freezing cold. I mean, literally like lows in the low 20s, high teens, and then highs like the 30s, maybe low 40s some days. Freezing cold. Obviously, it makes the fishing tough, especially when you're someone like me who doesn't have live scope or any kind of live sonar. Makes it even harder to find them. But regardless, you know, not making excuses, I mean, I still need to go out there and catch fish. I was ready to go, considering the fact that the day before the tournament and on tournament day, the weather did warm up some, and I got one opportunity to go out and do some quick pre-fishing, which I did, and I found some good schools of fish offshore. There's bait absolutely everywhere out here. I'm scanning it like crazy. I'm literally seeing schools swimming by the boat. There are some bass feeding on them. Just saw one blow up right here. Just gonna fan cast this whole area. There he is. Nice, good eat. Nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Exactly what I wanted to see. That is a butterball. Yeah, certainly not the first bait fish he's eaten so far today. Hell yeah. That's a chunkers. Let's get some more friends ears. There they are. Alright, let's get a cast back in that school again. Where there's bait, there are bass. There he is. I was gonna say, I just got bit. That's a white, I think. Yeah. I was gonna say, I felt one just eat. That's a hybrid, I imagine. If that's a giant white, if that's a white bass,
Yeah, okay, it's a hybrid. I was gonna say no shot. This is a white bass. Not the right species, but nice hybrid right there. Hell yeah. Thank you, my friend.
After finding those schools and knowing that the day was going to be a little bit warmer overall before we had another cold front coming in, I was super confident that I was going to be able to go out and put together a big bag, but that was not the case. We got to tournament morning, and the weather had really shifted. It honestly wasn't that cold in the morning. It was only 40-something. It was only going up to about 50-something that day, but it was bluebird skies the first time in a while. The pressure had spiked really, really high in anticipation for a front coming in later in the evening. The fish were thrown off. I mean, tell it as it is. I mean, the fish were thrown off. No one did that well in this tournament. There were some guys, obviously, that filled out some pretty good bags and caught some pretty good fish, but I think the winning bag was like 16, 17 pounds, which for Lake Austin, especially this time of the year, is nothing too crazy. That's what I was doing all my practice days. It's what I should have done on tournament day if I could have fished a little better, but it's frustrating, guys. I completely had an essential mental breakdown. None of my spots fished well. Nothing was going my way. But I didn't lose hope. I knew it was one of those days where if I could just put a few fish in the boat, I could probably, salvage a decent finish. And after 5 hours of fishing that day, I finally got that opportunity, and I messed up.
How's it going, y'all? Welcome back to an episode of Fishing ATX. It is another early morning here on Lake Austin. It is officially tournament day, y'all. It's a pretty chilly one, as you can see from how I'm dressed, but it's definitely not as bad as it's going to be this week. Yesterday was perfect weather. I mean, literally, we had the mid-60s, front starting to come in, the pressure was dropping. It was beautiful. Today, it won't be as bad as tomorrow. Tomorrow and literally this whole next week coming up, it's going to be in the 20s. We're going to get some snow. It's going to be crazy. Today, it's in the 40s. It'll get up to about mid-50s or so. That pressure is starting to rise. That wind's going to pick up, and by the end of the day, it's going to start getting rough. So what that means, and if anything from the last few weeks of pre-fishing tells me, I got to get on quickly. Folks, I've made it to spot number one. Considering how late I launched, honestly did not think I was gonna get this spot, but I did. Guess everyone doesn't know about it. Need to capitalize here. Like I said, we gotta get started early, gotta start hot. This is a spot where I've been crushing them early in the morning. Good fish too, consistently 2.5 pounders. So I need to put a couple on the boat right here and get on the board quick. Thing is too, you never know how many opportunities you're gonna get to get a fish spot like this off the bat, so you gotta take advantage of it. Alrighty, man, do your thing, dude. Do what you've been doing for me out here. Do your thing, drop shot. Let's get us some nice fish here to start the morning off. Well, that was certainly not the start I wanted with the drop shot. That's the first time I fished that point in literally like 5 trips and hasn't produced a fish. So it's not a excellent sign, but got a lot of fishing to do. I mean, it's gonna be tougher today. I mean, we got some really bad weather coming in later in the day. And hell, I mean, the pressure's already rising like crazy. It's already a lot colder than it was yesterday, so it's gonna be tough. I mean, I'm not gonna kid myself on that. It's gonna be tough for everybody, so just gotta find what they're eating on. Yep. That one's gonna hurt for a while. Wasn't even a small fish, like a 2.5 pounder. First legit eat all day, 5 hours, and I freaking missed the hook set. I mean, I was paying attention. I let him eat for a second, set the hook, and just never got it. Just didn't get it. Gosh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Good shot. It's the only bite I get all day too, so that makes me sick to my stomach, man. He popped up a kid.
As you saw there, that was the first good eat I'd gotten all day. It was about a 2.5, 3 pounder for me seeing it. I got it to eat once. I set the hook and missed it. Put it back there again, not anticipating it was going to eat. Already kind of pissed at myself considering it might be the only good bite I get. Eats again, set the hook again, hooks it for maybe 1 second, and then it pops off, and that's it. You're not going to get, after you've already got a second chance, you're not going to get a third chance on a fish like that. So yeah, I was pretty frustrated, as you could probably tell from my reaction. I knew there was a good chance that was going to be my only good eat of the day, and unfortunately, I was right. That was the only good eat I got all day, and I turned the cameras off. Like, I had not been this mad while fishing in probably a good 2 or 3 years. I was pissed. Yeah, I was really pissed. And luckily, after I turned the cameras off, I still did manage to avoid getting a skunk. I caught like 2 or 3 little guys, but literally none of them were over 14. I was just throwing a drop shot. They were all like 10 to 12 inchers. So I avoided the skunk, which was good, but I was still unbelievably upset with myself, especially considering I got my first ever 0 in a tournament on my home lake that I know better than I feel like a lot of people do, and it just all unraveled and fell apart for me that day. It's about almost a month later since this tournament. I've had a lot of time to kind of sit and rethink on it and like what I would have done differently, and honestly, to this point, I don't know fully what I would have done differently. I might have tried going north. I didn't fish north as much as I probably should have, considering that's where I've caught most of the bigger fish. I've been fishing the south part of the lake a lot, or I guess the east part of the lake a lot, and I felt confident there, so that's what I was going to try and do that day, and it just didn't pan out. I maybe should have been a little less stubborn and ran up and fished more grass, but I fished a lot of grass down there in general and didn't get a lot of eats. I don't know. I've had a lot of time to sit and think about it, though, and I've definitely just moved on. I mean, that's tournament fishing for you. There's going to be days, where you just don't get them the way you think you're going to, and or it's like the weather changes instantly. The bite is completely flipped from how it was before, and that's just, that's tournament fishing. That's how things go. It's fishing in general. I think I'm going to have plenty of these experiences, plenty of up and downs going forward throughout my career if I hope to do this for a long time, obviously. And you know what? Better to learn how to deal with them early than, be very successful and then have a hard time later on. So I think I've definitely shifted my mindset a good amount. Got another tournament coming up here on LBJ here pretty shortly. I think I'll be more ready to go. Regardless of how it turns out, the weather's been all over the place recently, so I'm sure it's going to be tough once again. But I've got a better mindset on how I think I'm going to attack this one compared to last. So there it is, guys. There was my failed tournament experience from Lake Austin. Really a bummer considering how much I love this lake and how much success I've had out here recently. But it is what it is. You got to move on. You know what? Get another chance next year. We'll get them then. With that, though, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, remember to leave a like and subscribe to Fishing ATX if you're new. Also, go down below and follow me over on Instagram. That will be in the description. With that, though, y'all, thank you so much again for watching another video. Hopefully, the next one will be a good amount more positive than today's was. I'll see y'all next time back out on the water.